Hey everyone, Drekkie here. With Black Friday and Christmas on the horizon, you might be looking at an action camera for your friend or your loved one. And the good news is there are tons of great action cameras out there for under $500. That was supposed to be a joke, considering our first camera on this top 4 list starts at a whopping $26 US. Yep, my wallet's really weeping for this one. The first camera on this list is the DB Power D5, and let me just say, I do not know how DB Power is offering this at this price point. Between $25 and $35 US gets you real 4K with image stabilization and a touchscreen. This camera's video quality is pretty damn good overall. I mean, it's cheap, so it's not going to be the best, but for the price you are getting tons of value. This camera is the reason I don't have a camera between $30 and $90 on this list, because in that price point, I have found nothing better. I mean, sure, the user interface is a little bit clumsy and the audio quality could be better and the video isn't as sharp as competitors, but all those small downsides could be overlooked for the price. I've only had this camera a couple days and I'm still finishing up the full review, but my initial thoughts are this will usurp the Suku C30 as the budget king. So moving up to our next option is quite a jump in price. As I said, there's not really that much between $30 and $70 that will do better than the DB Power D5, from my experience at least. My next choice is the Akaso V50X or the Campark V30. These two cameras are based on the same internal hardware and have very similar software tweaking, so I figured that you should just get whichever is cheaper between the two. What do you get over the DB Power D5 that justifies the extra price? These cameras are still real 4K at 30 frames per second, but they offer significantly better image stabilization. Their user interface is better planned and more intuitive, and they are better in low light than the cheaper cameras. I know that might be a hard sell because it's such a big price difference compared to our cheapest camera, but I do think it is worthwhile because if you have any issues with these cameras, I know that Akaso and Campark are a little bit more responsive than some of the other sellers. Then again, you could literally buy 3 DB Power D5s and still have some money to spare compared to this camera, so on one hand, yes, but on the other hand, maybe it's only worth stepping up in price if you go with real 4K 60 frames per second. And for me, the choice is still the SJCam SJ8 Pro at about $200 US. So there are plenty of cameras on Amazon advertising 4K at 60 frames per second between about 140 to 150. I've tested 3 or 4 of them and none of them have been real 4K 60. So that's why the SJ8 Pro is still my recommendation. The reality is that it's got a bigger touchscreen, it's better built, it's got a nicer case, but it is a premium camera with a premium price. My recommendation, if you want to save a little bit of money on this, wait for Vantop to release their Moment 6S, which will be around $179 US from China and is pretty much the same camera. Finally, the last camera on this list is the DJI Osmo Action. And the reason I chose this camera despite not having personally reviewed it is because it's been lauded as having some of the best image stabilization in the business, and it isn't as premium a price as a GoPro. This camera is waterproof without an external case, features 4K 60 frames per second, and 2 color screens. I don't have any sample footage to show here as I've not personally reviewed the camera, but let me just say if you're going to buy a premium camera, it probably is worth stepping up to this price point. Anyways, I hope your holiday season 2019 goes well, and if you're looking at any camera in specific, you can actually ask me about it in the comments below, and I can give you an opinion on whether or not it's worth it. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.